There we go. Hello, everybody. Tonight we're going to get started with the inside of our album in a box. And after I got everything cut, let's turn off that. I realized we will have to go back and do the decoration, and I'll have a few things to show you that will need to be done. And they're like just what we'll want to finish up with. But tonight we are going to create, and I did post the cutting guide in the beginning of this video, but I will post it again. Hello, everybody. So, Linda, I did see your email. I saw it pop up, and I'll get that taken care of. I just wasn't able to answer it. But we are going to create our pocket, and then we will create the hinges and the pages. So, we are not going to do any matting. Oh, and we have to create this. So the matting you'll be doing basically on your own through measuring and just adding, but I always like to go back and do like the matting and the specialty things after everything's done. We'll be doing our little pulleys and we'll decorate the cover. And this is the album. There's a full walkthrough, and then the way the measurements come up, they're kind of jumbled in the comments. I went ahead and did put my cover on it, and it is, you can look a little crooked, but it's not going to show much when we are when it gets decorated. And we already did our matting last week. So if you want to go back to last week, you can see part 1, which is creating the box. It's a remake of one I did many, many, many years ago. Started with a Prima, and I just love it. So it's a great one to put together. And we're going to just put our pockets and things right on top of our matting. Same with our hinges. So let's get started. We're going to start with that pocket up on top. And the first one you want to start with is a 6 by 12. I always do this. I never pull my camera out. Hi, Judy. Okay, 6 by 12. No, 6.5 by 12. Then we have a 6.5 by 7. And let's get the camera to stop going. Then we have two 2 by 7s. And the reason for this being is this is 6.5. And I would rather do it this way. You'll see why, because I wanted to keep everything as nice and neat and straight as possible. And I have a puppy who keeps throwing his ball under my table, and he won't. He knows it's going to go under the table, and he knows it's going underneath the shelving, but he does it all the time. So we're going to let him cry this one out. You might hear him in the background. And why I have to get some pool noodles and put on the bottom of the furniture. Hey, Homer, you lost it. You would think he doesn't have any other balls in the world, right? Actually, he doesn't. What can I say? He's been neutered. But no, this is his tennis ball. Okay, 6.5 by 12. I know, raunchy joke. I'm really sorry. We're going to put the 6.5 by 12 in our scoreboard with the 12 across the top. And I want you to score this at 7. And of course, we got some vacuuming going on. It's going to look just like that. And I'll close the door if it gets too loud down here. Then I'm going to take my 6.5 by 7. And our width is the 6.5. So we're going to put it this is going to be our, might help if you know what you're making. This is going to be this piece, and it does extend down into the pocket. I wanted it to look like it was one. So that piece, that's what this piece is. And you might want to miter the corners. I am going to round them off so that it looks, like a pocket. flap, but we're going to score this one at 3.5 inches. And you want 7-inch across the top of your scoreboard. So we scored it basically in half. Half will go inside the pocket. Half will sit on the outside. And I'm just going to round my corners. Then we have 2 gussets, one for each side of the pocket when we fold this up. And they are 7, so they're going to sit here. We'll have some trimming to do, but I just wanted to make sure everything was straight, so I'm using these little accordion strips, we can call them. We're going to score those up with the 2 inches across the top at 1/2. One and 1.5. I have glue stuck on my fingers. 1. Hello, Bonnie. Hi, Maggie. Hello, those of you just joining us. We just started on the pocket. Okay. Let's just go ahead and burnish all of our score lines. I keep grabbing the wrong one. So what this does is this is going to give us a full piece on the back. This is going to overlap, and then I am going to add a piece of, hi Beth, I am going to add a piece of tape, which I'll hopefully nobody took off my shelf. Okay, we got some. And that way, when I put things in the pocket, it's not going to get stuck on this, because you know how everything gets stuck on those little pieces of paper. So that's why we're folding this in half. This is going to be the front of the pocket. This is going to be the top of our pocket. And also, I think this is a really easy way if you have never made an accordion pocket before. I thought this would be easier to do for everyone. So we have these 4 1/2-inch pieces. Actually, well, you'll see. We're going to fold back towards ourselves and then back again. I don't really burnish it until this point. Otherwise, they seem to be crooked. I don't know why. So what you end up with is an M shape, or an M or a W. And then you also end up with that gusset. That makes your pocket extend. So we're just going to accordion fold it towards us, away from us, and then towards us. And I'm burnishing really well. So a couple of things that you're going to notice. Is when we put this down. So a few things you notice is it does stick out. But you don't see them. See, it comes all the way up to the top. So I want to give you a good visual. Here we go. Good visual here. So this, once we add it onto here, it becomes one. So if you've never made a pocket this way, then you'll see how it sits right there in the center. And this is going to fold right over. And we're going to pop that down because we will cut it down a little bit. We do not want it to stick over this top. Now remember, this shorter side is going to be glued down. So I'm going to take my scissors here, and we are just going to cut this. See that corner? I'm just sitting to the inside of it. And I'm going to miter the corners, and I'm not cutting at all. See? I'm not cutting there. Now, when I do this, I want the finished edge to the outside, the unfinished edge to the inside. We're just going to lay it down, so we want to check it. And it looks like mine's a little bit longer, so I am going to now go ahead and cut into the corner. It's better to keep it a little bit long. Don't cut those corners until you know, and then you can trim them down. Because I don't want it to stick over the top. So once again, I'm just going to miter the corners until I check my length. Let's see this one. So it can all be in the way you cut your paper. Oh, it needs to come off just a little bit. And there we go. Whoops. Finished edge to the outside. See, unfinished edge to the inside. Now what I'm going to do is set these aside. We've already done the scoring in half. I'm just going to fold that over. It should match side to side. Grab yourself a clothespin. Okay, leave the back loose. I'm only using my paper clip on the front here. So it looks good. Side to side. Now I can see where I'm just going to glue down this back side. It's like an extension. So if you want to grab a pencil, just make a mark where it ends. So I know from there to there is where I want to add my adhesive. And I wish, sometimes paper was longer because I could have done this all in one piece. But because it's not longer, that's okay. I'll settle for doing it in 2 pieces. Hi, everybody. Just popping in. Are you ready for this weekend? A nice, long weekend. I know I am. So when I open it now, cool, huh? We've got one big, long, nice piece. And now I can do, mine's off just a hair. I'm just going to trim it right there. Just miter that in. Oh, thank you. It's actually time to get the nails done. But because I had to run off to get some store shelving, I'm looking forward to having them done next week. Now, I'm going to take these guys. Now you can see they're going to fit nice in there. And this comes up. We've got a perfect fit. finished edge to the outside. And I'm just lining up the bottom one. And I've got some room, so I'm going to bring it down so we have a little more room at the top. The other side. Finished edge to the outside. And now that many of you have your graduations over, you can get your pictures in the books. Okay, just line it up on the edge. Let's see, we'll fold that up and fold that over. Then your matting, everything has to be matted before we put, no, we don't want to do any matting until we do our closures. So if you're going to use a magnetic closure, that works. I'm going to make these again. I love these kind of closures when you're going to be putting a lot of stuff in here, because magnets, it gets thicker and thicker, as you know, with magnets after a while. What happens is they don't always come together because of the thickness. Oh, and one thing I want to do across here is I'm going to take the tape. This one doesn't have the sharp teeth on the end, so let me use my scissors. Homer, stop. Well, I hope so. It is easy, actually. Okay, now I'll tell you what, this cheaper tape from the Dollar Tree, it's more of a cellophane instead of like instead of the, oh, come on. What's the other tape? We like, because it hides on the presents. I can't even think of the name of the Scotch tape. There you go. I like this better. It sticks a lot better, it seems. And now, see, there's no bumpy edge. Yes, magnets, once you start getting thickness there, it pushes away, and the thickness, well, they don't work too well anymore. So they are definitely better on just flips and flaps where you're not going to have a lot of bulk. I'm putting my fingers in there. I want to make sure that I'm lining it up with the edges. Oh yeah, you know what? It really does last a long time. And see, now you're going to be able to slide. Oh, you need to close that door. Oh, you're not. Oh, you're fine. Now see how everything's just going to slide? It won't get stuck. Okay, so it's a long holiday weekend where we're not going to get to the matting. It's just too much to do in one sitting. I will more than likely be doing it on Monday. It's a long holiday. Everybody should be around. Of course, the video stays recorded. So now you can leave this off this way you can leave this off so you can make these standalone and use them for other things. And but if you want to mat this before you put it down in your book, then you can hold off and mat it. It's actually pretty easy to mat because it is pretty flat. So I'm going to go ahead and add it in the book so that if you're going to go ahead and get yours finished, you'll know what I'm doing. So I'm going to add adhesive just to this whole back side. And I'm just going to center it and put that down. So you can see how easy it is to work with. Oh, he's not going to give up this ball, let me tell you. Homer. Okay, I'm going to close the door real quick. The girls have a real quiet vacuum, but it's still a little bit noisy. Oh, Homer. You know, I need to have two cameras, one on me and one on Homer, so that you guys can really see what he's doing as I'm working. Come here, Homer. Go play ball. And I don't know why they insist on throwing it over here. Okay, so that is done and put together. So I'll set that to the side. We're going to create the let's create the waterfall. So our waterfall, that's our lay flat pocket. We don't want that. Our waterfall is 6.5 inches wide. And I did that so that we can put the 4x6 cards on there if you want. I definitely wanted it in the beginning, but then you'll have to use a 1/2 inch of something on the bottom. So the rest of them are just the pattern papers, and then I did add a gold strip. So it's 6.5 by 10 3/4. And 6.5 by 10 3/4. And then you're going to want the pages on this to be, well, the waterfalls are 4 by 6.5. And I have them. I just don't know where they are. So I'm going to be cutting them with you. We're going to need a scrap piece for scrap. We're going to be cutting the band that goes around it. I know I cut those out. This is crazy. Okay, well, I'm going to cut them. So 4 by 6.5. That'll give you time to catch up. Now, the problem is, now you could do this 4 by 6 if you wanted, but you can make this any size. This is what's really nice. You just want to cut your 6.5 by 10 3/4. So if you want to do these just at 6 and not worry about your cut aparts fitting on here and trim down your cut aparts, just do it 4 by 6. But this is going like it's not going up and down waterfall. It's going side to side. Okay. So the band that we're going to pull has to be the same width as our waterfalls. So these are the pieces that I'm going to use to wrap just the scraps. It doesn't matter if they're an inch. It doesn't matter if they're 3/4 of an inch. You just need some. I'm using up all the scraps I can first. Okay, I'm going to assume they're not long enough, so we won't assume there. Okay, I got to get a piece of paper. So I've cut 3 of them. I'm just going to use my big cutter now so I can cut them all at once. Okay. Make sure I've got all 6 of them. Five, 6. I must not have cut them because there's not even anything remotely that size. So that's kind of odd. Oh well. Now, when we're scoring this, the main thing to remember is your first score, no matter what, if you watched how I created the other waterfalls, your first score is going to be the width. So if you make these 6 inches, your first score is going to be 6 inches. It don't matter, except for you'll use less if it was at 6. But we're going to start at 4. And then what we're going to do is we have to score. I use 1/4 inch scoring marks. I don't use the 1/2 inch. So I'm using 1/4 inch. So now I have a gusset. That gusset is where my waterfall sits. So I have 6 waterfalls. I want 6 gussets. So that's how I know how much to score. So I did 4 1/4, 4 1/2. So now I have 2 gussets. There's 3. And I'll give you the measurements, and 6. So we want to score 4, 4 1/4, 4 1/2, 4 3/4, 5, 5 1/4, and 5 1/2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's where this is where my waterfalls will sit, is in these gussets. So I'm just going to rolling it. They're really small, so they're hard to get a hold of. So if you bend your paper back on itself, there, that's going to help get the gussets formed. And we'll score more as we create the waterfall, and then we'll really score these down. Right now I'm just kind of soft, what you call soft burnishing, right? So I know it's going to work. Kind of rounded. Okay. Oh, so what's going to happen is it's going to fold over and we're going to pull it. Okay. So we want to, no, because we're not going up and down. We're going side to side. First one there. I'm just going to lay these out at first with you. Also making sure, I think we might need one more score line. We do. I counted this one. We're not supposed to count that one. So we need to go to 5 3/4. So we can now start putting this down however you're comfortable. If you want to use your scoreboard, you're going to see the glue. It'll show up better. And then we just put it to the top of the line. I like glue for these waterfalls. With as much movement as they get, it's permanent. Oops. And again, you can, oops, I'm making a mess. You can definitely mat these before you put them down, but they're pretty easy to mat. Any big plans for the weekend? Any big crafting plans for the weekend? I need to pay attention and make sure there we go. Make everything straight. I know I don't have any. I'm hoping to just be able to be in the craft room. So we're just going to keep going across. Ooh, heading to the beach for a week. Oh. Beth, am I going to get to see you in Florida? Oh my gosh, I'm really hoping so. I'm really hoping so. I wasn't sure. Oh, hi, Tiffany. Well, I love that you come and support. Now, I need to, there you go. Pay attention here for a minute. Oh, Beth, I'm so happy. You don't know how happy I am. And so, remember I told you I needed that last score line? Obviously, I didn't need it. 6. I don't know. If you made that score line, it's not going to hurt nothing. And I actually, oops, I have another page I could add on if I wanted to put 7, but I don't want to. I wish I could bring Homer for all you to see because he's this little nut. Okay, now we are really going to start burnishing. We're going to burnish these babies. And my mouth's been running, so I'm going to have to make a little extension, but that's an easy fix. I'm so glad. Okay, so now we're just going to we're going to burnish that first one, gently pull it, and you'll see where the next one is. And the next one, and we'll just burnish it right down. Well, I'm pretty excited for you. Not for that. I mean, that we get to see you. Okay, and one more. So, what's happened here is this little guy gets put down to this piece at the bottom. So when we pull it, see, it'll go back and forth. But I wasn't paying attention, and it's supposed to go, we're supposed to start on the side that has the bigger side, but it's okay because this is such an easy fix right here. And what I'm going to do is just take another piece of cardstock, which I had another 4 by 6.5, and I'm going to lay it down. I hope you see what I did. So let me turn it over this way. See the side that's smaller? I was supposed to start on this side that's wider and build my waterfall. So if you were following along with me and you did the same, this back piece now is a little too short, and it's okay. We're just going to make an extension. The only thing we want to make sure is that I don't make it too long for my book. For instance, there we go. Because I don't need it to stick out very far, about 1 inch. Or you may want to line it up with that last waterfall. So I'm going to cut some of this off. So this piece altogether is, well, it's 4 inches. I'm going to make it 3. I'll make it 2.5. I don't need it that long. Yes, we need some girl time. And let me just put this down. That's going to be my pole. So I just need to glue that area. Make sure it's straight. And I have other videos where I do this, and it's not too short. And it's a standalone video on making the waterfalls. So if you want to watch it again with no errors, check it out on my YouTube. So what's happening here is I'm not getting it straight for some reason. There we go. Let's use the lines of the scoreboard. Okay, this is not my day to get anything straight. I think this is crooked is why. It is. Oh, I am really sorry. As soon as I can open the door, I will throw those two out. Here, I'll mute for a minute while we're putting. I forget I have a mute button and I can yell at them, and you guys didn't even hear me yell at them. I'm going to beat both of them in a minute. Do you see how short that is? Okay. Okay, you guys are going to throw me out. I can't even get a piece of paper on straight. Let's try this again. Okay, fourth time's a charm, right? See, most of the time I can work with them in the background. I just don't like it when they're doing it and I'm on the video, and they have been so good all these months and years. Homer's just now starting to get naughty. Woohoo, I did it. Well, and it's too long, but that's okay. I'm going to cut it. I don't want my pull tab out that much. There we go. Now remember these 12-inch guys. So this is what we're going to take on your last, on this back one. I'm going to put it on first, and then I'll walk you through it. Let's see, you'll need that extra piece. So this is that leftover. It's like 1 by 12, and I only need a small piece. We're going to just glue that on to extend it. So you don't even have to measure here, really. Just don't get glue on your waterfall. And that's what holds everything together, so we can then pull it and it will waterfall. It'll do that. It'll do its cute little magic, right? Long time. Hey, Linda, how are you? You're right. It has been a long time no see. Well, I've been here. I know you've been pretty busy, haven't you? So glad to see you. Okay, last page. I'm going to see if I can. Okay. Come on. Go. You know, they haven't done that in a long time. Okay. Throwing them out was the best thing to do. So I'm going to put this right on the bottom here. Kind of already done my marking, so it's on the back page, you know, when we fold it around. You can also put that on the bottom side, but I'm going to put paper on top. And I usually do put them on the bottom side. I'm having just doing everything backwards tonight. So it's okay if you put it on top, just like mine, because it gets covered. Now, we just want to put our ends together. We're going to glue that down into our book. And then as you can see, it works really well. Oh, Chris, the strip. Well, now see, we can't really open the strip. The strip creates the slider mechanism. So that's what it slides back and forth on. Now, if you had to add an extra piece like I did, one thing we want to do definitely before we put this on is I need to do some matting, because it does want to get stuck on there. So I'm going to just slip this out, okay, because we're going to slip it right back in. You see this is wanting to get stuck. So I can mat. I'm going to go ahead and mat the back, looking for a piece. And it's not going to be seen. It doesn't even have to go all the way to the top. I just need to cover where I made that little extension piece. Otherwise, it's going to catch, as you can see. So I just cut it 6 3/8. Mine's 4 3/4. You know, like I said, you're not going to see it, but I'm covering right there. Without the strip, it won't, you know, with that piece we wrapped around, Chris, it won't have anything really to hang on to go back and forth. It'll just be a normal waterfall. Okay. Now I'll just slip that back in. Much better. Now it's not getting caught on anything. Except it will get caught here, but I will mat that. And it does get matted just like the rest of my waterfall. I just broke my whole book from here. Because I had temporary tape is why. Do you know what? I never went back and glued this down. Oh, how funny. I've been playing it all the time with my temporary adhesive. Well, I'll fix that later too. I didn't realize that. You may have seen me use this. It works great until it comes off. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this down in the book unless you're going to mat yours first. I'm not going to mat mine first, but I only want to add adhesive right on this band. And I'll just center it. And we'll get behind there. And make sure it's down before we start pulling on it. And there you go. Okay, we have our waterfall done, and let's do our hinges. The pages pages in our book are 7 by 12, or well, they're 7 inches long. So for the hinges that's going to go on each side of the flap that falls down, they are 2.5 by 7. And I do cut mine just a hair short of 7 so that when we make the page, it's not too long, just a little bit short of 7. And then we want to just score these at 1/2 inch with the 2.5 across the top at 1/2 inch, 1, 1.5, and 2. So each side has 2 pages. So we have a hinge, a gusset, and then a hinge. And we're going to repeat on the second one because we have one on each side at 1/2, 1, 1.5, and 2. Let's go ahead and do our pages. So for the pages, I have 4 of them. And they're just your really simple fold over without, and they're back, guys. I am so sorry. Without a gusset, and they're 7 inches wide by 12 inches long. And we're going to score these at 6 inches. And I have 4 pages, so we'll score all 4 at 6. And 6. Feels like a Friday night. I did, Linda. There's actually the walkthrough from last night. I mean, from last week at the end after we finished the box. Then there's an actual just walkthrough on my YouTube channel. Okay, I'm going to start here with the hinges. And we'll just burnish the first score line. And then I'm going to fold it over. Oh, one thing I didn't do, and I always do, is I trim a little bit off of each edge so that nothing is in the way. Sometimes they will overlap, so I just trim a little bit off of each end. We're going to use the big cutter. Yes, this would be gorgeous for a wedding or a baby. I made one for just beach paper. It was an old Prima one. I've made a farm one. Okay, and you'll see why I trim those off. There we go. So now it doesn't hit that other score line. It can be just an OCD thing with me, but we need a gusset in the center, so I just need to do these 2. And now we have our 2 hinges for our 2 pages. A little bit down in the 3 weddings. I had a year like that once. So yes, and actually you can make these pretty quick. I mean, we could do it all in one sitting, but I know that you guys don't want to sit here for 5 or 6 hours. You know, another one that's impressive to make if you're wanting them for gifts and not full-fledged albums. Do you remember the Christmas box one I made, and you lay it open and it has all the different waterfalls and things in it? Okay, that one would be really great. In fact, I want to redo that with this different type of waterfall. One up, one down, so that they kind of go in all the different directions. That would be a cute one for weddings. I need something a little bit. There it is. Sharper here. There we go. Oh, well, thank you. That's very nice of you. You know, and I'm really loving when we're working. I'm loving to hear you've got weddings this year. I love hearing we have all these different outings, because it means we're getting together again, and family is getting together, and family needs family. I mean, we need to be getting together. So it's really nice to hear that weddings are happening again, and baby showers are all happening. Graduations. I know here in Utah, we're pretty much back to normal. Up at the university is where the kids go to graduate. And so they haven't been able to do that in 2 years. In fact, my granddaughters missed, especially my first one, my firstborn granddaughter, when she graduated from, she was in college for graduation. I mean, she went right from 9th grade into college, and she missed the graduation. We were pulling up behind her in the car, and it was sad. I mean, it was what it had to be, but it was sad because it was our first granddaughter, and my daughter, you know, the first one graduating, and we didn't get to see that. Now, one thing I noticed is I had pencil marks here I need to get rid of, because those, well, I always map my gussets. Those will show. See if I did it here too. Yes, I did. Okay, now let's grab our book. And these we pretty much have to. Yeah, hi, Annette. So I'm just going to center these right on the inside. Well, sort of. I just looked. We need to come up to the top, because I have to put this back in. You don't, so it's a 1/4 of an inch from the top, because you don't want these to be, if they're right in the center, chances are they won't overlap as nice. So I'm going to put them at a 1/4 of an inch. I use my mat. Just a 1/4 of an inch from the outside edge. Well, thank you. Now I'm just going to kind of center this top to bottom, but I want it to match on the other side, so we will have to do some measuring over there. Now we'll go inside. Now, thing to look at is top and bottom, and I'm just going to find out where I am from the bottom. and I'm 3/8 of an inch. So you'll need to measure yours to see where you're at. Because you pretty much want to make sure they're in the same place. There's my 3/8. Find something kind of heavy. That will be having, oh, here we go. Hi, Sherry. Hi, T. Morris. Oh, hi, everybody. I'm loving seeing so many old faces, old names. And 1/4 of an inch again from the side. And now the dogs are passed out. I love it. I guess they got it out of their system. Okay, we're going to set that aside to dry. We've got our hinges. We've done our pages. Well, we've got to burnish our pages and make those. So 6 inches. So these are 6 by 7. We just want to furnish our score lines. And we scored at 6. So this part, you do want to make sure they're lined up on the edge and really straight. All right, there's our 4 pages. If I bump this, I will turn the video off. So I'm just going to completely, there's our 4 pages. Completely remove that keyboard so we don't lose the video. So 2 on each side. I'm just going to start with the back one. Just butt your page right up to your hinge. We're going to bend it over, making sure it's straight. Okay, go ahead and flip it over the other way and just make sure there's no glue and make sure it is stuck down. And my adhesive at the top and across the bottom. Now this is the point where you can put inserts in here. It's pretty close to this where the box closes. So if you don't want to put anything in there, you could also glue this shut. I'm going to leave that top open. And just get it straight on there. And do fold it back over. Let's get that bottom. And we're kind of working backwards on here from, you know, this side will feel more normal. To me, this feels so backwards. So let me just open that, butt it up to your hinge, and bend your hinge over. Don't try to glue your page on the hinge, or you won't have a nice lay flat page. And we can line it up. Sherry, I just saw your comment, and you're so sweet. My lives aren't the best. Sally's are the best. Of course, I love that kind of creativity, just watching her throw things together and come out with something so amazing without any pre-planning, nothing. Now those are some lies. Of course, we're all different. That's what makes it so wonderful. And but I definitely appreciate your nice, thank you for those nice comments. So let's squeeze these together, making sure our bottom is closed. Okay, there is our first set of pages. I am folding them into my album so that I can keep my second set of pages. I want to keep them even, because you don't want some up here and some down there, unless that's the look you're going for. But so fold them inwards. So we can start down here and also check that we're keeping our pages all where they belong. Okay, this time I'm just going to add my adhesive right here on the page. Man, our air conditioning's on and it's getting cold down here. Okay. One thing I'm noticing here, this page is a little bit long, and I don't know why. It can't really be long because the paper is only 12 inches, but it's got to be the way I just adhered this on. So I'm just going to grab my cutter. Slide it in here. And I'm going to trim just about a 1/16 of an inch off. It's another reason I love making my pages this way, because I can fix what I need to fix. And then if I cut it and it's even a little crooked, it's not going to matter. We've had to use it today, and I've been using the air at night. I love it. We have this new thermostat that we can put on our phone. So when it's hot at night, I just roll over, turn on the air conditioning. Yeah, we Americans are pretty spoiled. So I turn it on and I can cool off, but then I forget to turn it off and we freeze in the morning. Yeah, we hit 90 today almost, so we needed it. Much nicer fit. Okay, my last one. I'm going to check this really quick. I'm going to trim just a little bit off of one side. Oh, you have it. Of course, you have had some bad weather up there. Okay, everything's nice and straight. Bye, Beth. Get those cards done. I'll be seeing you soon. Okay, just like that, our pages are in. Now they are a cascading page, so one goes over the other, but they don't have to if you don't want them to be. But I did them as a gatefold. So we have our pages in, we have our waterfall done, we've even done the pockets. And that's getting stuck on my thing. I want to do some of the inside of the pages with you so that you're not waiting on creating the inside of the pages. So we'll do this left hand side first. I'm not matting though. You can, this is from the 8x8 page, and everything was cut 5 7/8. And then you can just, this is the 4x6 card from your 8x8. And then I just filled it in with the strip that's on the bottom of your tags. And then I measured to put that in there. But this is the lay flat pocket. Haven't done one in a long time. So I thought this was the perfect album because we can also, you can use it as another pocket here, and it does go all the way through. Oh, here it is. So that will fit inside of there. And that's what we're going to create is the lay flat pocket. I'm going to do that one with you. And we're going to do this corner pocket. And just this little add-on flap. And that little belly band. So let's start with the lay flat pocket. And for your lay flat pocket, you need to have a 5.5 by 11-inch piece of paper. We need a 4x9. No, we don't need a 4x9. We're scoring it at 4 and 9. Sorry. We're going to score this at 4 and 9. Then we just need the little 3 by 5.5. So we have the 3 by 5.5 and a 5.5 by 11. Hi, Sheila. And we want to put this in the scoreboard at 11 and score at 4 and 9. And you don't want to put this down in the book until you've matted the page, because, you know, I'm going to put that. I'm going to put that to the back. Oh, I did. Okay. I'm going to stick the writing in the back. Because you want to mat everything on here first. Now, how the lay flat pocket works is it's basically one piece, except it's where this little guy comes in. And that's what makes it a go through. So it doesn't, you can make 2 and 3 of these and put them together. And I've done that in old videos. So the top where you've got, it's bigger. The top is going to be the 4 inches. And we fold that over. That's why we have this extra piece for here. And the bottom folds up. Then we have our pocket. And then I just glue it on 3 sides in the back. And then you have a pocket at the top. Again, I've made 2 of these and then I add them together by overlapping this top piece, and you can make it really big. And they're really easy. Your pockets are always straight, and I really do like them, especially if you're going to make an 8 by to fit the whole page, which I did in, I can't remember the name of the album, but it's an old one I did with authentic paper, and it just makes these so that there's no bulk on the sides, and they're really easy to mat and just really easy to put in your book. But we do need to mat these first. So I'm just going to take my scraps and pieces and parts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mat this this is 4 inches by 5.5. So we're going to cut a piece. This piece we are going to mat. Well, I won't like really lay mine down. I'll show you. So 3 7/8 by 5 3/8. Because when I go to mat everything, I want to eat my edges. Do you not want to work? Of course it doesn't want to work. It's not really going to stick. So that would go down. Then you need to mat this piece before we put it down. And it's 3 by 5.5. So you don't even have to mat the whole thing. You're not going to see the bottom. So I'm just going to cut it at 2 3/4 by 5 3/8. That's one reason I don't sell these in the store. These darn things don't like to keep working, and I don't know why. They're kind of frustrating. So what's going to happen is you're going to now you just need to add a little glue here on the sides. I mean 1/2 inch to 1 inch. We're just going to set it down. Now on this guy, we'll just go top to bottom, basically. We're going to close it. Then you'll cut a piece of matting for the bottom. So I believe this is 2.5 inches. No, it's 2 inches. So 1 7/8 by 5 3/8 would be this last piece for along the bottom. And there you have your pocket. And then you'll have one at the top, because what you're going to do after you mat your page, and I put it on the back of page 1. So I did the matting, then I added adhesive. Now make sure this is where your top is. I did 3 sides. You don't have to if you don't want it to be a pocket, but don't wait. You don't want to waste that pocket. You can put glue all over or just 3 sides. After you do your matting, center it and lay it down, and your pocket is in your book. And I leave mine open in case you want to use the sides, or you can glue them shut. But like I said, I like to leave them open because you might want to tack something in there. And then if you decide later you want to glue it, you can. Now I've even done this where I take, when we made this top pocket, and I've made a flap go over, and I've used it as another pocket. So you can do so many fun things with this. And then you just make your tags and put them inside there, and your pocket is made. Super simple. Quickest way to get pockets done without scoring, gussets, and it just makes life so much easier, right? Right. Okay, let's make that corner pocket, and this one I will put down. So for our corner pocket, it's 6 by 6. Let's get the scraps out. 6 by 6. So we're going to put this in our scoreboard, and because this pocket's going to be on the opposite side, and it's my top one. This is just the little booklet. I'll give you the measurements for that. All right, no, I think I cut them to make it with you. And this is going to be the 6 by 6 piece. We're going to score on the left-hand side, and then we want to score across the bottom. And then we're going to do the tick marks at 2 1/4 and like 5 3/4. So we'll score that right now at 1/2 inch. And now turn it so that score mark is at the top of your scoreboard, and score at 1/2 inch. So you have score line at the left and one at the bottom, exactly where you want them. So I'm just going to make a tick mark here at 2 1/4, or just a line. Just make your line there. And then I want to turn it so my score line is now to the left at the 5 1/2. And, this is really up to you. I have mine coming up again at 2 1/4 from the bottom. So we're at 6. So 3 3/4. So on this side, I turned it so the score line is to my right, and I marked it just like you were going to score it, but just use the pencil at 3 3/4. And back to 2 1/4 with the score line to your left. Now, you don't have to measure if you don't want to. You can just put this in your scoreboard and cut it. And I do that a lot. But I'm going to take this score mark here, which was the 2 1/4, and then our bottom one from the bottom, 3 3/4. And we're going to just cut it off. And there you go. Now, a lot of times, I just put this in the scoreboard and cut it. I don't even measure. But I don't like to do that to you guys, because you might need to know what size I just cut it. Finish up the score lines. This one I'll put in the book, and I'll show you how I do matting. For those of you, if you have never done a pocket like this before, they're super simple. But of course, it's not simple if you've never done it. That is good. Okay, let's see if I can turn this camera for you guys. No, oh, I can't. It's my new one. think I lost you. Did I lose you? No. I was going to show you what the dogs, they look like they're passed out dead. Okay. Back to work. I know. I hope I'm still there. Hey, do you guys just notice all of a sudden my words are coming up on the screen, or is it just me? Okay, because this is really crazy. I don't know what I did to now they're gone. Oh no, now they're back. Hey, has my what are those things called? The words at the bottom of the screen? Have they always been coming up while I'm live here on Facebook? Because that's really weird. Okay. I know you're saying, let's not worry about the dumb dogs. How weird. I can see them. Okay, we're just going to match up our edges, edge to edge, and then bottom to bottom. Oh, just I see them? That's really weird. I've never seen them before. Why would only I see the captions? I know what I'm saying. Well, no, I don't know what I'm saying. Sometimes. Oh, it's some type of closed captioning. Okay. Okay, we got the pocket on. It looks great. Now you want to mat it. So you're like, how on earth am I going to mat this? Well, very simple. First, we're going to make a lot of noise. Then we're going to grab our cardstock. Really? Huh. I guess I don't pay attention to myself. We're going to cut this at 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. No, we're not. We're cutting it at 5 3/8. What happened is our length, we took a 1/2 inch off our length and a 1/2 inch off that left side. So we want to just score at 5 3/8. We took it off when we did our scoring because we did a 1/2 inch gusset and 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. And as you can see, good fit, but here we go. We need to actually draw that. And I prefer to draw it if you want to just mark your paper according to that top and bottom, but I like to put it right inside my pocket. Oops. Make sure it's straight. And I just fit it in there so it's nice and snug. Draw my line. Now I'm going to cut to the inside. Now we have almost a perfect fit. Looks like my angle possibly is a little bit off. So I'm going to take just a little bit from the bottom. Once I cut my angle, I don't really go back and cut that angle again because it just seems to always make it worse. I got some glue here. So I take it off of the straight edges. And there we go. The graduation is just your graduation cut apart. I first matted on black, then I matted on gold, and I put it on, I put graduation on, and then I just glue it. So it overhung the pocket. It gave it a better look. So there's that pocket. And then the booklet that goes on the inside. did not cut those pieces, but I will so that I can make it with you. You want a 5 by 10 inch piece. And then you want a 5 by 5.5. And you do want the booklet, I think, because it just adds more photo space, because you can get 6 more photos on there, or 5. And I did double mat those. Okay, so this is 5 inches. So we want the 5.5 at the top of the scoreboard and score it 1/2 inch. And then with the 10 inch at the top of your scoreboard, score at 5. And we're just going to add the piece on and turn it into accordion. So is anybody off? Did you get like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off? So you get an extra long weekend, or just Monday, or maybe not even Monday off. I remember working when I was in nursing, there was no holidays off. So these two open this way. So what I'm doing is just laying that over, and it doesn't matter because you can rebend this. So my hinge is to the right. Well, Sheila, you don't work. You're like me. Yep, I get it all off. But yes, when I did work. But actually, no, we're shipping tomorrow. And so you'll get your, oh, you know what? Oh, no. Monday, there's no mail. That just occurred to me. Okay, there's your booklet. Super simple, super easy. Then you just want to mat 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. And then I did it in gold. I double mat the front, 4 7/8 by 4 7/8, and the top is just your 4 5/8 by 4 5/8. Then I did not double mat the inside. And that's your little booklet. Super simple. And we need to now create this little guy. And then our belly band. So that little half pocket is 8 inches by 6.5. Okay. And we are going to start, well, let's go ahead and put it in the 8-inch side and score it 4, because our pocket's 4 inches. Then we're going to turn it to the 6.5 inch side. And I want you to score it at 1/2 inch. It's not hard work. I love it. And what we're going to do is, let's go ahead and fold it in half. Now I need to cut off, because what happens is we need a hinge to connect this. So we need to cut off, and it doesn't matter. You can cut off the top, you can cut off the bottom. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to use my scissors. Cutting to the inside of the score line, just barely. Stop in the center, and let's miter the corner and remove it. So that's done. And then we're going to miter the bottom. There's my hinge, so I'm just going to fold it backwards. So that should be pretty even right there. Now, I'm going to open this because what I did is I'm going to take just a hair off to make it a little bit shorter. So it looks like a pocket, and you can see some of the pattern paper. Okay, so I put this back in my cutter, and I took off 1/4 inch. Now, I didn't give you the measurements for that because you may not want to have, you may not want to have it shorter in the front, but I wanted it shorter. So the person getting it would know to put that it was a pocket. Because I know I forget sometimes too. It's like, you do forget. You forget. Did I put a pocket there? Now we have to glue it shut. Oh, wow. She's 99. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. One thing I'm going to do too, I want to fold this over, and I can see I didn't do such a hot job cutting that super straight on the score line. So I'm going to straighten that up. And then you don't have to worry about it too much, just so it's not hanging over. The pattern paper will cover it. So now your hinge has to fold to the back, and it's going to go to the inside of this page. Fold over. And so make sure your hinge is on that left-hand side, or you'll be putting it over here, which is okay too. The bottom one that does not have the hinge, you just want to add adhesive to the two sides and fold over. Okay, on goes the heat. Air conditioning is too cold. Okay, let's grab the pages. We're on this right-hand side. And what I did is I put it on the back of page 1. And if you want to put it over here, you can put this anywhere you like. That's the nice thing about it. No. Just line it up. This is just glued. If you put this down and you find it was going to be too long, you just cut it and re-glue it. When I laid it down, so see, if I looked at that and said, oh, it's hanging over the edge, I don't like that, you can just trim it and re-glue it. Okay, we're almost there. We just have a belly band. And then I showed last week, I just took, that's on the 12 by 12, and there is one on the 8 by 8. You can use your, I used a die. I just used my Heartfelt Creation. I have those nested circle dies, and I just cut it out. And it looked, I thought looked really great. Now, these were cut with the Heartfelt Creations, and then I just embossed them, and see, they'll sit in there. This one, I didn't cut it down, and so it actually did make it a little harder to put it does make it a little harder. This makes it so much easier to put those in with cutting that 1/4 inch off. So I have to kind of look here, and that will go inside of there. Thank you, Alice. So the back side now is a belly band. It's just a belly band pocket. so you can stick some extra stuff in there. And I'm gonna leave the book over here a little bit closer. So for our belly band pocket, we need a 2.5 by 7. You always cut mine a hair short. And then you need a 2 7/8 by 7. We need to score these. So I'm going to score. This is the main. No, mine a hair short. Oh, shoot, I just turned it on. Sorry, guys. I need more table space. Okay. A big one, the 2 7/8, we're going to score on 3 sides at 1/2 inch. So your 2 short sides and your long side. And this is the actual belly band. Yes. And we just want to score on 2 sides at 1/2 inch. Now we want to bring our page over to make sure our belly band is going to fit where it's supposed to. Okay, we're fine. Just go ahead and burnish all your score lines. And that should be the same width. And then when you fold the bottom score line, so you should have 1/8 of an inch at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and miter the corners. This one I did do the gusset on the bottom instead of just gluing it down. Because when you add things in the page, it will get tighter, and it kind of needs that gusset so you can get more tags inside of there. Plus I had an accordion that goes in there, but it fell off when I got to find it in all this mess. It fell off when my whole page fell out of the book. So I'll have to get that back in the book. Don't use temporary adhesive unless you remember you've used temporary adhesive, because that's what will happen. Your pages will fall out when you give it to the recipient. So we're just going to glue that right on top. Then we have a nice little pocket. And you could even stick your gift cards in there. And that was my first thought on this, is where the gift card will go, because I don't want it to be right on the front of the book. Make them look through the book to find their gift card. So I'm just going to put that on top of our belly band. And then our belly band, I'm just going to eyeball it. Well, I'm going to bring it down a little more than half so that your tags can sit inside of there. And so you can see now, you can put the gift cards or ticket stubs, whatever you like from the graduation. So I'm not measuring. I'm just putting this down. Okay, and then you'll just go through And I did the matting pretty much with the same paper. Again, that's just for a photo. So I did use a combination of the 8x8 and 12x12. And there we go. That one goes down first. I didn't do a magnet or anything. It just kind of hangs out there. And then the top one goes on. And the lay flat pocket goes on the back of page 1 or wherever you like to put it. And then Monday, I'll go ahead and we'll get a video scheduled. And I'll have the matting ready to go down, and we'll do the cover, and we'll finish our pocket here. So if you've never done that with a brad before, I'll be doing that with you. You'll just want to circle punch. And that basically is our album in a box. So since I have a minute here, so you can see the cover. I mentioned in the walkthroughs, this is a Tim Holtz frame, and these frames are thick. They're going to be great for shakers. They are in the website. You get a whole big package of them. And unfortunately, we're out of the charms. I know they're gorgeous, but cream of flowers. And so since I have you here, why don't I go ahead and let me get that temporary glue off. Whoops, or tape. I think I will glue my hinges in. See, that temporary comes right off. I don't know how I missed that. Actually took some of the, oh. There we go. So here I'll just make sure my pages are straight. If you missed it, I have the temporary adhesive and my page just went flying. It was kind of funny, actually. But it would have been terrible if I'd given the book to somebody. Actually, it's not till next year. We have twins graduating next year. And so I thought this would be a perfect time to get this done. Both of them. And then I won't have to worry about them next year. Okay. There we go. I better let that dry. So I'm going to set this guy over to dry. Got some clothespins. And there you go. Okay, we'll be back Monday and we'll finish up. That way you guys can get your pages in and get your matting ready, or you can go ahead and finish it now, however you like. And if you want to use a magnet for your envelope, absolutely. You use whatever you like. And I'm going to focus just a little bit to make just a little bit of a gusset. There we go. Okay, now it's not hitting that. Hey guys, thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed making our album in a box. It's really fun, quick, and you can do it for so many different holidays, birthdays, graduations, weddings. But be sure you show us your finished box, because I love to see what you guys do with the tutorials over on Scrapbookers. And I'll see you then on Monday. I'll get that all scheduled so that we can finish our box. Bye-bye. Yes, have a great weekend, everybody.